These hills and hollers have been echoing with music from places just like this for centuries. We hope you'll join us for Living Legacies of the Ozarks. Hello and welcome to Living Legacies of the Ozarks. My name is Hayden Head and I am delighted to welcome Emalee Flatness to the program. Emalee is an actress at Shepherd of the Hills, and she also interviews local musicians for the Ozark Studies Institute at Missouri State University. Emalee, I'm so glad that you're with us today, and I'm excited to talk to you and hopefully maybe hear a couple of those folk ballads. I'd like to begin with your interest in folk music and also maybe your attachment to the place where we are today. We're on Michelle Century Farm, aka Weddings at the Homestead, and I believe you've been here before.
Yeah, so I actually gave children vocal lessons right here in this cabin for the Ozark Mountain Music Association's Bluegrass Camp. Nice. So lots of good memories in here. That's great. The first time I heard you perform, and I was just blown away, was at Cabin Fever over at Reed Spring. And that's the music festival they hold in February, and it's free and open to the public. So tell me about your involvement with that event and just your experience in performing here. Yeah, well, I was so happy to be a part of that event because I had just really gotten interested in the Hillcrofters and their purpose and studies of the Ozarks. And so I was so thankful to be a part of that. And I had my good friend Larry Sledge playing with me. He's played mandolin and bluegrass music all throughout the country. I talked to a man named D.A. Calloway, who's definitely a living legend in the Ozarks. He's worked at Silver Dollar City for years and years. He had a Dixieland jazz group called the River Rats at Silver Dollar City way back in the day. But he told me all kinds of things about how music in Branson has sort of changed over the years. It's kind of drifted towards bluegrass as opposed to old-time music. And, you know, a lot of people don't know there's a big difference. I am so glad that you said that because actually I've been working on an oral history myself. Yeah. But what I didn't know and what I still don't know is the difference between bluegrass, which is Bill Monroe, right? I mean, he sort of crafted that, is my understanding, in the late 40s or 50s. Yes. And old time, or what would you call it? Old time country music? Old time mountain music? I would call it old time, yeah, you could call it old time mountain music or folk music or... Tell us the difference, because I think that is very interesting. So this is just my perspective. Well, that's okay. A lot of old time music, you'll see ballads and songs that have been passed on for generations and generations, and you know, everybody sort of takes their own spin on it. Whereas bluegrass, it's interesting because, you know, a lot of songs are modern that have been written, and even like the Bill Monroe stuff in the 40s, I would call that modern in comparison to old time songs that have been around since the 1600s. Yeah, like Barbara Ellen, for example. Right. It's one of the most performed songs ever. Would you mind singing Barbara Ellen for us? Sure, I'll try. Thank you, I appreciate that. My allergies aren't too bad. All in the merry month of May, when the green buds they were swelling, young William Green on his deathbed lay, for the love of Barbary Allen. He sent his servant to the town, to the place where she was dwelling, saying, Master's sick and he sends for you, if your name be Barbary Allen. That is beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us at Living Legacies. We're going to be right back.
Living Legacies of the Ozarks is sponsored by Ozark Mountain Legacy. For more information, go to ozarkmountainlegacy.org.
Welcome back to Living Legacies of the Ozarks, and our guest, Emalee Flatness, who has just sung a beautiful song, and thank you so much, Emalee. I was thinking during the break about this cabin that we're in, beautifully reconstructed at the Michelle Century Farm, but we have air conditioning, we have electric lights if we want them. There's not a privy back here, there's not an outhouse, there's a real bathhouse with running water. And where we are now is so different from the cabins, the hardscrabble lives of the people who came here. And I'm wondering, Emalee, that song is so profoundly sad, Barbara Allen, how you see the music of the hills connected to the people who lived here.
Yeah, so a lot of the people who lived here, of course, were impoverished. I mean, we were far from the nearest big city. Maybe Springfield, Missouri was the big city at the time. But
and it took how long to get there from these hills down here? I
Right.
mean, a day, maybe 2 days?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And now I just drove here from Springfield.
Right, right.
So, I mean, you can look out and see how inspiring the topography can be for these songs, which may not inspire sorrow, but these people really lived those stories about death. And, you know, there's so many ballads about children dying or a husband dying. And another thing that's really special about the Ozarks and Appalachia, and maybe why these songs expanded so much here and kind of really became so popular, is because we're so isolated.
Right.
I mean, sharing these songs was really the only form of entertainment these people had, whether it was these ballads, which may have represented true crime documentaries that we have today, you know, singing stories about murder.
That's right.
Or,
What is
you know,
that,
you
Tom
may
Dooley
have
or
a,
something?
yeah, Tom Dooley.
Right.
You may have a romantic comedy song, you know what I mean?
Right.
It really represents entertainment of today, but this is just what they had back then.
Could I perhaps impose on you for another song, maybe one a little lighter this time?
I can try.
That would be great.
Well, I love my little rooster and my rooster loves me. I'm gonna cherish that chicken neath the green bay tree. My little rooster goes cock-a-doodle-doo-doo-doo. Well, I love my little pig and my piggy loves me. I'm gonna cherish that piggy neath the green bay tree. My little pig goes my little guinea goes potterack. My little duck goes quack quack. My little dog goes woof woof. My little hen goes cluck cluck. My little rooster goes cock-a-doodle-doo-doo-doo.
Perfect. Bravo. That is so good.
Oh, it's so
Wow.
hard to remember all the critters.
Well, you got them down, and I was really interested in the guinea. I wondered what you were going to do.
I
'Cause
know.
Nobody knows how a guinea goes.
I don't know what a guinea does in real life. Potterack, I guess.
I guess that's what they do, but that's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's great. Emalee, you mentioned earlier the Ozarks Mountain Music Association, and I know that they're very interested in the same things that we are, which is preserving the music legacy of the Ozarks. Could you tell me some more about that organization and your involvement with it?
Yeah, so I just really became recently involved with the organization, actually just this summer, whenever I got to give some voice lessons to the children who attended the bluegrass camp, which was super neat. And it is really carrying on the traditions of not just the music, but also the sense of community that the music brings to these children. So it was a neat experience.
They're taking some of that back in these places that they've come from, so that people can have this sense of connectedness.
Right.
And so there's also a festival that you've performed at here.
Yeah, so the Hillcrofters, they had their music festival here on this farm, which I think is so special because this is so ingrained in the history of our area, this farm is. But they have their festival in the fall here where they have different performers from the Ozarks perform. I know at other festivals they've had people like D.A. Calloway perform. And
So you're really talking about the heart of the Ozarks.
I believe so.
I do too. Well, I think we're right. So. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and bringing your love and enthusiasm for the Ozarks to the program.
Thank you so much for having me, Hayden. It's been a great time.
It's been my pleasure. And thank you for joining us here at Living Legacies of the Ozarks, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.
Living Legacies of the Ozarks is sponsored by Ozark Mountain Legacy. For more information, go to ozarkmountainlegacy.org.